Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel. This is my review for Evil Dead Rise, which is the 5th movie in the Evil Dead franchise. And honestly, trying to figure out where this takes place in the continuity is going to be a nightmare. I'll explain in a bit, but what this movie is about a family that lives in a high-rise building. Through a series of events, the Book of the Dead is found in an abandoned area of this building. The oldest son finds it, brings it up to their apartment, unleashes evil, the mother gets possessed, becomes a Deadite, and it's up to the aunt, the mother's sister, to try to stop the evil and possibly save the rest of the family. Now, the reason why I was hesitant in trying to figure out where exactly this takes place in the timeline of Evil Dead is because the franchise is a mess. If you thought that the Friday the 13th movies didn't give a crap about continuity, Evil Dead is a series where the first one is a straightforward horror movie, the second one is a sequel but also remakes the first movie in a different way. The third movie in the franchise, Army of Darkness, once again remakes the events of the first movie in its opening, and even remakes the ending of Evil Dead 2, not to mention ditching the horror genre altogether. And then the remake of Evil Dead from 2013 is sort of a sequel. It's a whole can of worms in terms of trying to figure out where this takes place. And I'm not even going to mention Ashe versus the Evil Dead, which I personally have not seen, which is a shame because I love the Evil Dead franchise. But whatever the case, we have a new movie out, Evil Dead Rise, and there's a lot in this movie that I actually do admire. I once again admire the fact that this movie and the remake tried to be more straightforward horror movies, much like the original Evil Dead. There are some moments throughout this film that are legitimately creepy, and I have to admit, watching those trailers beforehand, I never squirm when I watch trailers for horror movies, but the trailers for Evil Dead Rise made me uncomfortable and points where I just wanted to cover my eyes. I never do that anymore, especially when it comes to the cheese grater scene. Just the thought of that being used as a weapon is horrifying. It sends chills down my spine just thinking about it. And then the Deadites themselves are probably the creepiest they have ever been in the series. Alyssa Sutherland plays the main Deadite, Ellie, and she does a fantastic job juggling two different types of performances. There's Ellie before evil is unleashed, where she's just a frustrated mother trying to figure out what to do with her life. And then there's Ellie once she's possessed by the evil, and she's just a creepy as hell Deadite, but manages to maintain a lot of the crass nature that the Deadites are known for from Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. If there's one performance that really sticks out in this movie, it is her, because unfortunately, nobody else really holds a candle to this performance. Lily Sullivan as Ellie's sister Beth is decent, but I didn't think there was much interesting about this character. And then in terms of Ellie's kids, they all annoyed me in certain ways, whether they're just bland or downright stupid. Now, I'm not going to criticize the fact that one of these kids brings in the Book of the Dead and unleashes evil, because, you know, we wouldn't have a movie if somebody didn't do something stupid like that. No, I'm talking about more in the middle of the movie, once the Deadites are on the loose. Characters do incredibly stupid things that I'm like, why would you even do that? You know damn well that these evil beings are not well. And that's ultimately what kept me from really liking this movie. It's the characters. They just didn't really appeal to me all that well, and I didn't find any of the stories that compelling. And when I don't care about the characters in a horror movie, I feel like I'm just going through the motions, waiting to see who lives and who dies. I never got around to reviewing the Evil Dead remake from 2013. Maybe someday, but based on my memory of seeing it, one thing that I'll give that movie credit for was that the characters are actually caring for one another, and I got somewhat invested in what was going on. I can't really say the same thing about this film right here. So, at the end of the day, this is my least favorite of the Evil Dead films. That sucks to say, but I don't hate this movie. Again, there's a lot to admire about it. The tone is great. There are scenes that are effective. The gore is cool, even if the kills are kind of basic. And setting this movie in a high-rise building instead of a cabin makes it unique. It makes it stand out from all the other movies along with Army of Darkness. I'm gonna say watch at your own risk. There was never a point in this movie where I found myself bored, but I just wasn't all that invested. And maybe it's a personal preference of mine. When I think of Evil Dead, I think of the perfect blend of horror and comedy, like with Evil Dead 2. And I even enjoy Army of Darkness a lot, even if that movie gets a tad too goofy every now and then. It still makes me laugh, and I enjoy that film. Again, it's personal preference. I give this movie credit for attempting a more straightforward horror movie, but the characters just really didn't work for me, and I can't highly recommend it, but if you feel like you have to see this movie, then go for it. You might come out of this feeling a lot more positive than I did. And there you go, that's my review for Evil Dead Rise. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day, and take care of yourselves.